Today on the Bass Channel, we're checking out the PJ4 SBK Deluxe from Harley Benton.
I know that things are going wrong for me. You gotta listen to my word.
What is going on, everyone? Chris here from the Bass Channel, and like I said at the top, we are talking about another Harley Benton instrument. Harley Benton has become pretty revered in the last couple years for being surprising quality at a surprisingly low price. So today we're talking about the PJ4 SBK Deluxe. Look out, Listexia, that comes in to try to thwart me every single time. You might recognize this from a couple weeks ago, a month ago, a little while ago. Chuck did his Take 5 series on the 5-string version of this, to relatively less than stellar feedback on it. But now we're here to take a long overdue look at the 4-string version of the very same instrument. So before we get into the specs, let's run down the signal chain. Obviously, all of these shots are from a live gig out at MGM Grand from a week or two ago with my new friend Lenny from the Schmarties. They're a classic rock cover band local here in Las Vegas, and they play some kick-ass tunes that I quite myself enjoy. So I originally loaned and then ultimately gave this bass to my friend Lenny. So we're gonna hear a little bit from him about what he thought of the feel and the tone from an onstage perspective. And I'm just gonna be here to walk you through the rest of it, to give you some specs and show off my cool wall of basses behind me. So let's jump into another tone.
Me down. You got it tough. I see the toughest around. And I know, baby, just how you feel. You got to roll with the punch to get to what's real.
First of all, when I looked at that bass, I had no idea the price point. I thought it was way more expensive than what it is, and so that blew my mind. Just the look of it, the matte black color, the red pickguard, it just looks to me like a sexy bass. And I'm a Fender guy. I grew up playing P bass and jazz basses, and so to me, I felt very comfortable on it right off the bat. It was almost the same weight, it's the same length. Same fill. I had my hand in the same position that I have with the jazz and or the P bass, so all the specs seem almost identical. And as far as the tone goes, to have that the P bass and the jazz bass was great, because I love both my basses, and to have mixed up both I thought was great. I mean, once again, it kind of went with every single song that my cover band plays. We play a lot of classic rock, a lot of 60s, 70s. We even go and play some Sublime, and I thought it was perfect for that dubby Sublime sound, as well as that John Paul Jones bass from Zeppelin. It kind of did both, best of both worlds. As far as the playability, I just felt comfortable on it. I might mess with the action a little bit. Obviously, it was a brand new bass. I was the first person to use it. Now that I know that it's mine, thank you, Chris from Bass Channel. I'm gonna do a couple things to it, buy a new strap for it, strap locks for it, mess with the action just a little bit, and then it will be exactly how I play on it. And as far as the playability, I mean, if for the price point, you can't beat buying something like a Harley Benton just as an everyday player.
right, so let's go into the specs. Again, this is all just right off the website, readily available, but just to save you a little bit of time and some clicking, I'm just gonna read them to you now. So the PJ4 SBK Deluxe has a basswood body, or basswood body, depending on how you'd like to pronounce that. It's got a bolt-on maple neck, a roseacer fingerboard, dot fretboard inlays, a modern C neck profile, double action truss rod, which feels like an unnecessary thing to say at this point in time, but you can loosen or tighten the truss rod. It has a 42mm nut width, an 864mm scale length, which I'm no mathematician, but I'm gonna guess that that's 34 inches. It's got 20 frets, it's got P and J style pickups with 2 volume controls, 1 tone control, black hardware, PJ style machine heads. It comes from the factory with 45 to 105 strings, and the color is matte black with a tortoiseshell pickguard. Now, PJ style machine heads is a little silly. It's just their in-house Clover tuners. If you buy this bass, you're probably likely going to replace them with Hipshot anyway, so that doesn't really matter. So I don't know this to be certain, but based on the specs of the regular P-bass version of this bass, the one without the J, they say that that pickup has a ceramic magnet in it. I'm going to guess that probably this pickup and the J pickup have ceramic magnets likely glued to the underside of the pickup. That just seems to be the normal way of doing things at this point from overseas, Asian, Chinese, whatever manufacturers. And in my humble opinion, I think that that's a healthy dose of artificial witchcraft. Because our ears are generally tuned to think that louder and or brighter is better. To glue a cheap ceramic magnet under the bobbin to make it A, louder, and B, brighter, make you think better. So, I don't know, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts of Harley Benton owners, Squier owners, any kind of like under $400 that came from an Asian manufacturer. I'm sure that that was your experience with the stock pickups, but once you put better pickups in it, whether it be Seymour Duncan, Aguilar, EMG, whoever it might be, whoever your favorite pickup manufacturer is, did it sound noticeably better to you, or did it sound worse, or kind of about the same, or any of those things? I want to know about it. And the reason I want to know about it is because I still subscribe to the Earth is flat theory of tone wood. It's a theory that a lot of you in the comment section absolutely dismiss. But I still stick to it a little bit. I think that there is something to be said about the wood. I don't think it's night and day, but that's a topic for another day. Today we're talking about this particular bass. I have my thoughts and feelings about cheaper instruments, and I'll maybe save them in my back pocket for a little bit later. But that being said, the bass looks rad, the bass feels real good, the bass sounds really good with those ceramic magnets glued underneath the coil. And it fits a mix pretty well. I know Chuck had somewhat sort of unfavorable thoughts about the 5-string version, and I have to admit, I mirrored those thoughts. I got all the footage of that gig, and hearing it from the audience, I wasn't tremendously impressed. However, hearing this 4-string version of the same bass, also in a live context, I was much more impressed. So here are my final thoughts just on this bass and Harley Benton and cheap overseas instruments as a whole. If you're buying it for your children or your younger sibling or maybe your spouse or whoever it might be as their first instrument, these are great instruments. Cheaper, budget kind of models have come leaps and bounds in the last 20, even 10 years, with kind of Squier starting it off by upping their QC. These type of instruments that fit this very inexpensive niche are light years ahead of what they were 20 years ago. So on that front, cool, I got no issue with it. Where I do have a little bit of an issue is let's just buy it because it's like $100 or $80. Or I don't know exactly how much this is, but I think it's in the ballpark of like 100 to 120. Either way, insanely inexpensive. I try not to be the person of let's just buy it because it's cheap and it's pretty good for how cheap it is, or in this case, inexpensive. Then you just have 12 to 20 inexpensive basses that don't really feel or sound or look or have any kind of special place to you. I would find it much more worthwhile, rather than buy 12 $100 basses, buy the one $1,200 bass, or even just wait even longer and buy the one that you really want, whether that's MTD or Spector or Warwick or Gibson or Fender or whatever your favorite brand is. Take the time to shell out for the special one, because then it becomes an investment. Depending on the manufacturer, if it's a Fender American Ultra or Elite or whatever they're called, or a Gibson Thunderbird like I love, or a German master-built, or even the team-built Warwicks, or a Euro Spector, whatever it might be, likely they're going to retain their value, if not increase in their value. With some of these inexpensive Squires and Harley Bentons and Glaries and whatever else there are now, they not only don't retain their value, they're basically worth nothing as soon as you take it out of the box. If you ever decide, like, I need to clear out some space, I'm going to sell some of these basses or whatever, it's going to cost you more to ship the Harley Benton than it's worth, because it's worth about negative $10, and it's going to cost you, I don't know, anywhere from 20 to 100 to ship it, depending on where it's going. So at that point, when you decide that you don't want it anymore, you cannot get the return on your investment. You might as well just burn it, or just give it away. But with something like a German-built Warwick or a custom MTD, or again, insert your favorite brand here, they're going to retain their value. And even if you decide not to sell it and you hoard them all day long and you have your own TLC show like I'm about to have, then it's still something that you can be proud of, and you can just play with pride. And it's not about the name on the headstock, unless it is. Maybe it is for you. Maybe there are people out there who really need to see Gibson or Fender or whatever on the headstock. The end of the day is, if it inspires you to play more, then it's worth the investment. And I just, for me personally, the inexpensive instruments don't inspire me to want to play it. The things that I saved up for and made the investment in usually do. Sometimes it's a better build. I know a lot of you hate Gibson out there. That's okay. I'll be alone in that camp. But it's more about the attachment that you have. So this whole runaround thing is, I don't know, I just don't want to be that person. But if you do, if you get off on having 12 different $100 instruments, cool. Because for a $100 instrument, they're great. I have nothing bad to say about them for the price. The only problem is I have to include for the price. Nobody says that the Spector Euro is a great bass for the price. They just say it's a great bass. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. So if you want it, by all means get it. You're likely not going to be disappointed in it. It sounds great. It sounded great in a live mix, and I really don't have anything bad to say about it. So again, thank you for watching. If you agree with everything I had to say, hit like. If you disagree, hit dislike. And either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Do all the fun YouTube stuff that helps this video appeal to the algorithm. And we've got some more videos coming up soon, so I will see you then. And until then, be safe.